Hey my friends, Greg Denning here. Hey, you know what? Life will be exactly what you and I make of it. And I've been teaching that for a long time and I believe it. I wholeheartedly love it. I've experienced it myself. I've helped a lot of people learn that principle and take ownership of their lives. But there's two main reasons why most people really suck at it and won't actually have the power and influence in their lives that they could. And why they're really missing out on having more control, and so their lives feel out of control. Number one, I see this all the time, all over the world when I work with people, when I'm doing coaching, when I'm speaking, when I'm doing interviews, like just when I'm meeting people all over, right? I see this all the time. Number one, they're totally confused about, and this is normal, it's nobody's fault. I'm not faulting anyone or making anyone feel guilty. But most people are totally confused about what's inside. Oh, there's some deer running off over there. That's awesome. What's inside their circle of influence and what is outside their circle of influence. We confuse that all the time. I've done it. You've done it. Other people do it all the time. We get confused and we spend so much time fretting about and worrying about and stressing about all these things that are totally outside of our control, like the weather. Right? There's nothing you can do about the weather. And yet we fret about it and we're constantly worrying about it and like, oh, it's gonna, all that, and we're complaining about it, right? And we do all these things and like totally out of our control. And ironically, we do very little about the things that are in our control. And if you want, and if I want, like for all of us, if we want to have more control in our lives, we've got to get crystal clear about what is within our circle of influence and what to do about it. So number one thing, you've got to take ownership of what's in control, what you can control in your life. Here's what's amazing, what blows me away, and very few people really understand. You with me? Listen in here, because this is so powerful. The vast majority of people grossly underestimate how much influence they can have in their own lives. I'm going to say that again. The vast majority of people grossly underestimate the amount of influence that they can have in their lives. So when I started out by saying your life will be what you make of it, I mean that. Now, I used to live in this space because nobody ever taught me. I didn't know this. I wasn't raised like this. My parents didn't teach me because they didn't know. My neighbors and siblings and teachers, they didn't teach me because they didn't know either. They had no clue because most people don't. They didn't know how to train me as a young man. Like, hey, look, your life can be exactly what you make of it. Like, you can influence your health and your emotions and your mindset and your social standing and your financial standing, and like you can literally design and craft and create the life you love. You can write your own ticket. Right? Nobody taught me that because they didn't know. They didn't even know it was possible. Right? Because most people don't. Most people don't know that it's possible. But it totally is possible. You have the power to directly influence the quality and the outcome of your life. Now, if you're doubting that right now, if you're questioning that, if you're suspicious, good. Like, be suspicious about it, think about it, but look around. Read, so you guys, I've studied the lives of great men and women for over 2 decades. Study biographies and autobiographies, the great ideas, the great thinkers, the great leaders, the greatest people that have ever lived. And guess what? They absolutely refused to let circumstances dictate the outcome of their life. George Bernard Shaw even taught it this way. He said, this is a direct quote. He said, the people who get on in this life are the kind of people who get up and look for the circumstances they want. And if they cannot find them, they make them. Close quote. Boom! You and I can get up and we can look for the circumstances we want, and if we can't find them, we make them. and we can alter the course of our life. We can alter the outcomes. You have way more influence than you think you do. So I'm giving you two things today. The number one thing is this, that very few people realize how much power they have in their lives. And they blame circumstances, they blame their past, they excuse it away saying, I can't do that, I'm just not that kind of person, I don't have the skill set, I don't know, I don't have the knowledge, I don't have all these things. And maybe they don't. Maybe right now you don't have the knowledge you need. Maybe you don't have the skills you need. But that doesn't mean you can't learn, you can't develop those skills. So start saying things like, well, I don't have the skill set yet, but I'm going to work on it, and this is what I'm going to do. Or I don't have the knowledge yet, but I'm going to find out. I'm going to learn, and I'm going to master this. That's what I'm talking about. And people even blame God. I come across this all the time. Christians have this. I'm Christian. I love going to church. I'm a church goer. If you go to church, awesome, high five, boom. If you don't, that's high five, boom. I love you anyways. But Christian people have this propensity to blame God for their problems. And so when we make mistakes or we get to the limit of our own limitations, our own capacities, our own limiting beliefs, we just think, well, God just wants me to be unhealthy and poor and sad and miserable, but I'll be happy in the next life. I'll go to heaven. And it's crazy. We even blame Father for our failings and mistakes. Wouldn't we be a lot safer blaming ourselves for our own problems and mistakes? You with me on this? Isn't that a far safer bet to say that we're the ones that are making mistakes and not him? Just saying, food for thought there. Love you guys. So number one thing is we just grossly underestimate how much influence we're going to have in life. You can change your health. You can change your wealth. You can change your marriage. You can transform your family. You can transform your life. You can you can change your whole world. You can change your circumstances. You can move. You can do whatever you want to do. You have so much unbelievable power. Just settle that in right now. Just trust me as a mentor and a coach. You have more power than you think you do. So start questioning that. Wait a minute. What am I underestimating my influence on? Or what influence could I have on a positive outcome in my life that I'm not doing right now because I don't think I have that power? Question everything and start rocking. Man, when I changed that right here and right here, I totally transformed my whole life. And I went from being homeless and poor and shy and broke and insecure and depressed and discouraged and fearful and anxious and just hopeless and desperate. I went from that to living an absolute dream life. Because the big thing was, I realized, wait a minute, I have way more choice here than I thought I did. I have way more power to influence here than I thought I did. Because most of us I know I'm killing this thing, but I've got to drive it home. Most of us just sit back and think, well, that's the way things are, and that's the way life is, and I can't do anything about it. Bogus. You totally can do things about it. So stop. Man, I love you, and I'm in your face right now. Stop underestimating yourself. Take ownership of your life. Get back in the game, man. Step it up. Own this crap. If your life is not what you like right now, do something about it. Change it. Sorry, I'm tripping in holes here. Change it, man. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to change your life? I know I'm bringing the passion right now because it breaks my heart. I love you guys, and I love helping you. I love helping people. And I've been there. I've been in the hurt, and I've been in the hole, and I've been in that broke mindset. And it breaks my heart to see good people like you stuck only because you underestimate your own power and influence in your own life. You're only stuck because you think you are. You're only trapped because you believe you're trapped. That prison you're sitting in, it's yours. And I was there too. I had the biggest prison of them all. And I believed that there was nothing I could do about it. And when somebody finally taught me, well, lots of books and lots of training, lots of practice, when I finally realized that I have tons of power and that I can open that door and walk right out and transform my life and take ownership, everything changed for me. And I want that to be true for you too. Like you, oh, I love this. Man, I get so stoked about this. You can totally transform your life. You can transform everything about your life. You have that power. So don't blame your past. Don't blame other people. Don't even blame God. Don't blame the devil. Don't blame it. Just look at yourself. And this isn't a guilt trip. This isn't to beat yourself up and say, what knowledge do I lack? What skills do I lack? What do I need to do to make some changes? Okay, that's number one. I know I'm hitting it hard here. Thanks for staying with me. Number two, human beings have this unbelievable capacity to self-sabotage. We all do it. I do it too. You do it. Everybody does it. We have this unbelievable capacity to self-sabotage. And so even when we finally come to a realization of how much power and influence we can have in our lives, and you guys, I get so stoked. My coaching clients, by 3 or 4 sessions in, they're just coming back to me like, this is unreal. This is unbelievable. My life, I feel better than I felt in years or decades. It's fantastic. I feel like I have control over my life again. Like I'm making things happen. I'm making changes. My marriage is better. My health is better. I get energy. I have clarity. I have focus. I'm more productive. I'm getting things done. I'm more hopeful and excited. Like this is awesome. That's the kind of stuff we have. But then we self-sabotage. We get this idea of like, wait a minute, I can influence this, I can change this, I'm going to do it. But then we slip into our old patterns and our old ways unless we're getting held accountable. I mean, that's why coaching matters so much. You have to have a coach. I mean, if you want to work with me, I would love to help you. If you don't want to work with me, work with somebody else, but like, get a coach. But there's a lot of crappy coaches out there. I'm just going to be totally honest. There's a lot of coaches out there that have no idea what they're talking about, and their own lives are not where they should be in order to be helping and coaching people. Like, if you're going to coach someone, you better have your stuff together, right? There's a lot of people who just went out and got some kind of certification, and they don't know what they're talking about, and they've never experienced it themselves, and they've never helped anyone else experience it either. Side note. But don't get into self-sabotage, right? Don't get in this practice of like, oh, I really should do this, but I'm just going to binge watch Netflix. Or I should really learn this new skill that would make a dramatic difference in my life, but I'm just going to play video games instead. Or I need energy, I need health, I want to feel alive and vibrant, I want to take ownership of my life, this is going to be awesome, but instead I'm going to eat this entire package of Oreos while I sit on the couch and do nothing. And we literally self-sabotage. And we allow our limiting beliefs and our negative voices to overpower all of our thinking. We allow our doubts to come in, and like Shakespeare said, they're traitors that make us afraid to attempt what we might have done, what we might have accomplished, what we might have achieved, the greatness we could have worked out in our own lives. And yet we feed those doubts and fears. And we listen, we take bad advice, and we're afraid, and we acquiesce to people who are poo-pooing our dreams and our goals and our ideas, and like, oh, you can't do that. Who do you think you are? You know, just why do you think you have to be special? Why do you think you have to live a better life than anybody else? Why can't you just settle for what you have? Right? Ah! So don't do it. My friends, don't do it. Number one, believe in the power you have to dramatically change your life and influence for the better. You have way more power than you think you do. Number two, stop the self-sabotage. And you know what it is. You know, you know what it is, my friend. You know where you're self-sabotaging. You're aware of the thing you're doing you know you should not be doing, or the thing you're not doing that you know you should be doing. How are you practicing and living self-sabotage right now? Stop. Get a coach. Get some accountability. Set up some rewards and consequences. Set up some new systems. Hold yourself to it. Get in the mirror. Look at yourself in the face. I'm done. I'm done with this self. No more self-sabotage. We're not doing that anymore. We're changing. We're changing here. We're transforming our lives because the power is ours. It's in our hands. And we're not going to self-sabotage anymore. I'm taking back that power. I'm going to transform my life. Awesome is always an option, my friends. Reach upward.